welcome to Students Rise Fest, the surf. I think it's going to be great. We will tackle some very tough and hard questions. Good morning and welcome to Students Rise Fest, also known as the surf. It's a podcast we're trying to create to provide a platform for students to share their issues and concerns. With me today is Lisa and Sam. We decided to pick this topic here, which is also very fitting for the podcast, is going to be college or no college. If it comes as a surprise to you, it's one of the topics that we have to deal with daily. And I'm not giving you much background about Lisa, myself, or Sam, but we are versed in education, college level, that is. So we hope we'll be able to provide you with all the answers that you need as you decide, or if you're thinking about this topic. So Lisa, college or no college? Is it worth it?
What do you want to do, right? And it can change over the course of your life. But where do you want to start?
Sure.
And what kind of information do you need to make an informed decision of whether college or no college? So I think that some of the questions you need to ask, are you a people person? Okay. Or are you, I don't want to see people during the day. Sure. They just drain me, right? Or you're a mix, right? And once you know that, then it's off to do some research. And that is from your network and cold calls and expanding that network and asking those questions. And we're lucky, you can do a Google search, a Yahoo search, whatever the search engine is, right? And maybe you're not quite at that point either. You need to figure out, what are those terms? Who do I need to talk to? But what are the occupations out there after you've figured out whether you're a mix or you're a people person or you're never want to see people during the day because they drain you, right?
I'm just graduating high school.
Yes.
I want to take some time off, and actually I got this question. I want to take some time off before going to college. Should I take the time off? Is it worth my time pursuing college immediately? Or in the long run, like you said, I'm not sure what I want to do. Do you think college will help me?
So I see a lot of students who do what we call that gap year or gap semester.
Sure.
And it's what you do in that time that will help you to make that decision. Now, I in the back of my mind, I lean one way over another, but making that step and not having a plan, it's not gonna work well, right? So taking that time, if you can, mom and dad are okay with you staying at home, or if you've got some roommates and you cover your costs with a part-time or a full-time job, and then doing that research is so important before making that college, no college.
Right.
Although I do lean one way more than the other.
I will get to that. Thank you. So again, I'm playing the angel's advocate, right? Yes. I'm not going to play the devil's advocate. I will play the angel's advocate. Lisa has got me to where I need to be a little bit. I'm still not there yet. So Sam, bring me home. College or no college?
So you want a yes or no answer, black or white?
Let's do it.
Logic,
Yes.
0 or 1.
Yes.
College. And the reason is, whatever Lisa was talking about, it gets solved by being in college, by taking classes. And let's say, for example, you're still not sure what you want to do. It's worth applying to community college and regular college, see what kind of financial aid you get and what kind of scholarships you get. And you have a lot of opportunities that way as being a fresh graduate from high school. Take advantage of these opportunities and take classes to discover what you like. And the only way you can figure that out is through experience, through immersion of these things, whether you're taking a class, whether you volunteer, whether you do a part-time job, whether you just randomly out and about, you ask people what they enjoy about their life, or tell me what's a typical day for you and see if that is something that you would like. So think about this. You only live once, and you're so young, and you have all these wonderful opportunities available to you. And you know for a fact, there's statistics behind this, that with a college degree, you're going to be making a whole lot of more money, but we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
I have some numbers to show you guys and talk to you about. So I am all about college.
Okay. All right. So getting close. We're getting warm. I'm getting a strong college. And I just, again, want to make it very clear that we both, all of us, I said both, all three of us are very, very involved in college. So I don't want anybody thinking any differently, right? We just want to make sure that we're advising our students to go in the right path. So that's kind of what we're doing this. All right. So I think where we are right now, as we're making the case, it looks like definitely for college. And I'm going to play the angel's advocate one more time here, is this. Currently, with maybe social media, whatever it is, the mindset of our students is, well, I want to get this money quick, right? I want to go more into entrepreneurship. Am I going to get that from college? Is college going to help me with, go to school for 1 year to do what I want to do? And Lisa, you already touched on that. It depends on the interest, what you want to do. Because obviously, if you want to do engineering, I'm going to say no. There's no way you're going to be able to do engineering without going the 4 years or the way the system is designed for it to be. Right? So over to you now. This is what I'm trying to do, right? I want to be an engineer. Is there any quicker way for me to do it without, can I even do it without going to college?
The answer to that is no. You gotta go.
Sure.
Right?
You gotta get at least an associate degree. Right?
At least an associate degree, but if you and then that opens engineering technician more so than engineer, right? So then that makes a connection. You can start off at community college, get that associate's degree. That then immerses you, gives you some experience, a good foundation theoretically, and then go on to do the bachelor's degree. That moves you from a technician's job to a full engineer's job. And you've kind of put your toe in the water, right? And can figure out based on the sets of courses, what kind of engineer do I want to be? Okay. There's so many out there, right? So many different majors, so many different disciplines. Okay. And then going back to that original, are you a people person? Are you a introvert? So when you look at the gambit of engineers, there are different types, even within a particular major. There are different roles, so to speak. And you need to come with an open mind and be willing to try and really assess yourself. What am I? What thrills me, right? There are going to be ups and downs. I always say to students, put on an index card why you're doing this. And then, at that, you're writing an essay or you're studying for a test or midterm and you're having doubts, go back to what you wrote, right? And it's like, okay, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Okay. And that can help. Right. Also a shot of coffee for me.
Okay. So Lisa wants coffee. Sam, okay. I think we're almost there. So, question to you is, if I do decide to take some time off without going to college immediately, right? Or better yet, I do decide to do something else. And it's very difficult, trying to kind of answer this question because we always want to know what your interests are and what you want to do first, right? So again, I'm done with high school. I'm really in the middle or the process of picking out an application to fill out a college application. I'm also thinking, I want to do something with social media. Okay. What will your advice be for me is, should I forget what I'm trying to do in social media to go into college immediately? Since you're talking about, yes, go to college, what would be your suggestion for a student who wants to either take some time out to reassess themselves before?
Right. So it all depends on the individuals, the resources you have, et cetera. And I know Lisa touched upon this, is if you have a support system, if you do have, your parents or your guardians or whoever else you're living with, and you have very limited expenses, or your expenses are fully covered or partially covered, and you have the luxury of exploring, you're young, you can do whatever you want. But my thing is, no matter what you decide to do, I would say take at least a class or two at the community college. And pick something that's fun to you or sounds exciting, or something about social media, if that's something what you want to do. And you could target the projects and the assignments in the class towards what you want to do at the end of the day. So let's say you're interested in social media, you want to come up with this digital marketing piece, take some classes. Find someone who does that and ask them what would they do if they were your age. Let's say someone is doing well on social media, and you can ask them, how did you get there? If you were to be 18 again or 17, whatever your age is, what would you tell that person? And that would be my suggestion.
All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of a turn here, since probably the students that are looking at us are also thinking, okay, we get what you're saying. How did you decide on that same question? So this is going to be a little personal, right? Right. So over to you, Lisa. College or no college? Did you even have an option, right? So maybe a little bit about how you made.
How did I get to this point?
Right.
Okay, so I didn't have an option. Education was always mentioned in the household from as early as I could remember. That was the key to the future, to your future. And I would say that my grandmother, I'm not quite sure she finished elementary school, but she created the environment for you to interact with teachers and do your best, right? Fast forward, my parents, one finished high school and went out to work, and the other went on to college. And they supported each other along the way. And they also instilled, it was very important, education. For me, they provided an environment for me to explore. And then, of course, they had their ideas, right?
Sure.
So one wanted me to be a dentist, and another one wanted me to be a doctor. And I would say they didn't really understand their daughter, who doesn't like blood, the sight of blood, and didn't like going to the dentist to begin with. So I couldn't see myself in that environment. But I took courses at high school, right? So I was told, do all the sciences, all the maths that were required, and then anything else, you get to choose. So I picked.
It's good.
And that helped.
Okay, all right. So Lisa just told us about her decision, right? College or no college, which wasn't really a question, right, to begin with. And I think that is where we'll share the stories here. I'm gonna go to you, Sam, and then I'll come back to myself. College or no college? When you finished high school in your household, was that even an option?
It was not an option.
Of course.
And the reason is, my mother always wanted to be a medical doctor. However, she grew up in the Middle East, and during her high school diploma final exam, they had war. And she was forced to leave to take care of her elderly parents, and it was an automatic failure of her high school diploma. And in that country that she was in order for her to get her high school diploma, she would have had to enroll in a private school for a year, and her parents could not afford it. So instead, she was mentored by a family friend and became a hairdresser. But all her life, she talked about wanting to be a medical doctor. So my mom did not finish her high school diploma. My father is another story. He comes from a mother who had 6th grade education. That was the latest. And his dad actually completed his high school, which is back then is considered major. And he was an English teacher in high school. So my father was the eldest in the family. His parents collected all this money, saved it up for him, sent him overseas to another university to study what he wanted, which was philosophy. Well, he decided to not spend his time very wisely, and on his last semester, he partied too much and flunked out. So he never finished his college degree. So both of my parents raised me and my other sisters. It was understood you need to go to college in order to get out of this low-income type of household. We lived in a 600 square foot apartment, 6 of us, 1 bedroom. Always had lights on, always had food. I never realized the extent of that we were low income.
Right.
But the education was always important. My parents would send us to private school and apply for financial assistantship. So they were always resourceful, and they taught us that. Right. So it's an automatic, yes, college. So, but the thing is, being a first generation, I didn't have a mentor to tell me what to do. So it was my high school guidance counselor and said, "You're good in math, you're good in science, have you considered biomedical engineering?" And I was like, "What is that?"
Right.
And they said, "Well, it's an engineering degree, you can work on it, you get it in 4 years. You could also be a pre-medicine major, pre-med, if you want to go to medical school." And I was like, "Oh, my mom wanted to be medical school, maybe I'll do that too." So I took that, and even the guidance counselor was like, "Apply for this like expensive private school." I'm like, "It's $32,000 a year. I can't afford that." He's like, No. Your family don't have a lot of income, and you're very smart. You're doing well in school. Apply for scholarships and help me with filling out the financial aid application." And I am so fortunate that I did end up going to that school. And if I didn't have any if I had to pay out of pocket, it was $32,000 a year. However, with all the scholarships and financial aids, and I took a little bit of student loans, within a year of working after, I was able to pay off all my debt, and my salary as an engineer doubled within 2 years. So
good
yeah.
point. I was going to actually get to that next.
Okay.
Is how we're going to kind of pay for college if someone decides to go. So unlike Lisa and Sam, where you had no option, right, but to go to college, I think mine was different. No, I'm lying. It wasn't any different. It was, you got to go to college because it's either that or you're out of this house here, right? That was the next step. That's the only thing that you could do for us to support you. So we're all kind of the same way. It was college or no college, no option, college. But I think now, this new generation have a choice, right? I think college is designed for you to find the lane to pick a track, right? And that is kind of, for me, the advantage of even starting to go to college. What do you think, Lisa?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that you need to do some initial research,
Sure.
right? So that when different options or suggestions are made, you have a basis that, yeah, I have to research that a little bit more, or no, I did research that, or have some other questions to help kind of guide the conversation. And then you're looking at an informed decision.
Sure.
Of what your path will be. And know that it's not set in stone, and you're going to get more data, more information, and it's like, yeah, that's the path I want to go down. Or, ooh, that's some added information. I got to backtrack and ask some questions and do some more research and then move forward.
Okay.
But college is an exciting time. You just think about all the options
Do you really mean
out
that
there.
seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I look back at my undergrad, and it was a bumpy undergrad.
Sure.
Because I took courses without doing that research ahead of time.
Right.
So it's like, I don't like this, but I got to do it. And not thinking a little further into the future. But as soon as I hit those sets of courses and I started to do more research on them, and think of life after college, then I had my purpose.
Okay.
And then I had to find that continual motivation.
Okay.
And that came to that simple idea that I hadn't thought of back then. Write down why you're doing it. Right? So those late nights become, all right, this is why I'm doing it. And they can help, right? Okay. So I enjoyed my early college. Yeah.
Sam, we're sold.
You are.
I think, yes, I am sold.
Yay.
College, advantages for you, why, student, and I know you want to touch on the finances, and that's fine. Maybe this is the point to do that. You go to college, the turnaround, investments. What are your key advantages for go to college?
So for me, I think of going to college gives you more opportunity.
Okay.
So by having a degree, you're able to explore the world. Right. If you look at the North Carolina Labor Bureau 2018 report, an average income, from a high school standpoint. So if let's say you got your high school diploma and you go straight to work, you will make an average of $730 a week. $730 a week, that's close to $3,000 a month.
Sure.
That's not terrible.
Sure.
However, instead of a high school diploma, but getting an undergraduate or graduate college degree, 4-year college, that number goes up to $1,200 a week. That's close to $5,000 a month. $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month. What can you do with extra $2,000 a month?
Sure.
Well, me and Lisa were talking earlier off this, and we talked about you can fund your hobbies, your interests. So I have a story of a friend of mine, always wanted to be a hip hop singer, right, and dancer. But she realized in order for her to do what she loves to do, she has to have some sort of a job that would support her. So she got her undergraduate degree in mathematics. She's very good in math. She works as a statistician in Manhattan. She goes to her job 9 to 5, but then in the evenings and on the weekends, she's got her passion. She does her hip hop dancing and recording, and she even released an album recently, and it's just amazing to see her doing that. Obviously, she would love her music career to take off. But in the meantime, she was smart about thinking how to supplement it or how to support herself. And if it takes off, then she doesn't have to work as a statistician. But like I said, it provides opportunity to receive a college degree.
Okay. So, Sam, just to be clear on the numbers, right, that you just gave us before, we're looking at, let's say, a high school student graduated, didn't want to go to college, and I'm going to pick plumbing, right, as an example.
Okay.
Decides or has an opportunity to go into a company that does plumbing versus a student that actually goes to college, gets a degree in plumbing. So we're looking at those two, right? I'm guessing that's where the differential is coming from. Because in engineering, for example, it's amazing how many people that I've worked with, but they are drafters, for example, right? So they're in the company as drafters, been there 25 years plus, but unfortunately, because they don't have that degree, they don't even progress to get their license, so they don't make that money, and I don't have the numbers right now. But having that degree is an added factor to what you're going to be making, right? So yes, for the high school student or for those who are still on the verge of college or no college, it is very important to address the fact that the system is built right around college with a degree. So you get your degree, that's an added advantage for you to get what you want to get. And there's nothing wrong with you not going to college, but when it comes to certification, you're not going to be paid as much as if you have your college degree.
And can I say something
Sure.
real quick?
Sure.
So, research shows
Yes.
by going to college, you're much happier, healthier, and satisfied with your career.
Sure. Okay.
Actually, it goes even further. There's actual research that with having at least an undergraduate degree, you're at least 19% higher rate of being healthier and living longer.
I was just gonna close on that because that was very good. But
Yes.
Lisa, what are your closing remarks? College or no college?
College,
Okay.
do your research.
Sure.
So you have a focus, and know that focus can change with added data,
Sure.
added conversations with a number of other individuals to have a kind of, and I know it's corny, but the eye on the prize. I used to roll my eyes when they told me that when I was younger, but I now understand what they mean. Right? So you gathering information all along the way that then helps to sustain you, because at times you're going to feel, why am I doing this? I see a friend or that person over there, they didn't go to college and they're doing just fine, right? So you need something to sustain you as to why. And always look at the research that Sam has just told us, right? It's not only about the take home, right? But then also about your health and your wellness. And also maybe you're thinking family or not thinking family, but what are you giving to the next generation, right? And you'll have more resources, both tangible and then non-tangible to pass on.
Sure. Perfect. Perfect. So, college or no college, as I said, I'm sold. I think right now I'm at 98%. And I'm going to tell you why I'm still holding on to the 2%. Because I think throughout your college career, you're still going to be asking that question.
Yes.
Right? You're still going to be wanting to know if the path you've taken is the right path. But 98% is good for decision making, all right? So college. Also, what I tell all my students is this, and I'll share very quickly what one of the questions that I get from my students. Graduating, okay?
Yep.
So these are questions come from students that are graduating about, Professor Chris, thank you for all your help. I'm very happy for what all my instructors have done for me. Unfortunately, this is not what I want to do. And this is probably on the day of graduation. Yes. So what do I do? And the number one thing that I always tell them is don't ever for once think that your college has been wasted, because if nothing, it's giving you the direction to realize that this is not what you want to do and an opportunity to move into something else. Okay.
And also with college, like having any degree, it doesn't matter what major in a sense. Again, I'm going to go back to numbers and research.
Sure.
It helps you, your personal and professional growth.
Yes.
You gain these skill sets. You gain network of people that you interacted with that will continue to help you grow as a person, as a citizen. So it is never a wasted time.
Absolutely.
And believe it or not, there's employers out there, they don't care what your major was. As long as you have a college degree, you can apply for that job.
Well, there's transferable skills, right? So you come out, you finish, and you decide that's not the major. I don't want to work in this area. There are skills that you've learned: how to critically analyze, how to gather research, how to interact with customers, with fellow workers. All those things you can put into your toolkit and move to the next job, right? The next industry.
And think about this with our evolving world, with the global and technological things that's happening, interdisciplinary work. So when you actually get a degree, let's say you get a degree, I'm going to just say physics, and then you realize I really don't like it. You can apply some of the concepts that you learned to solve problems. Like we could talk about the engineering grand challenges that are out there. Providing clean water. That's going to be an issue in very few years. Maybe not in our generation, but maybe in the next generation. Or how about cybersecurity? That's another challenge. Yeah. So maybe you could use some of the things that you've learned to work with other individuals to solve that problem. Because in order for us to solve problems like this, grand challenges that are out there in the world, in our local community, and even across the globe, we need to work as a group and not think about, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm a physician, whatever. You think about it as, we have a problem, let's get all the different stakeholders in there and solve that problem.
The next topic Lisa just touched on that we hope we can use will be transferable skills, and that is after your college degree. If you decide, and maybe even after your college degree, you work for a company for 20 years, and I think that's where most of us are, 15 years, can you at that point say, thank you, with what I have done in school, with what I have learned, can I go on my own? Because this is what this whole discussion is about, really, is I want to do something on my own. That's why I even asked the question in the first place, should I go to college or not? Right.
Okay.
So transferable skills, I think, will be the next topic that we should be talking. What are the opportunities for that? Because that's what this generation is all about.
Sounds good to me.
And thank you all for selling me on college or no college. I think I'm sold, like I said.
I thought you were at 98%.
I was at 98%.
Which is sold.
Sure. It's sold.
I think by next podcast, the other 2% with the transferable skill, he's going to
Exactly.
be sold. 100%.
All right. So this is the end of our first edition of Student Rise Fest, the SURF. And we're looking forward to questions, concerns, issues that you all or students may have. But we agreed to put ourselves in an uncomfortable position to deal with all the questions and issues. So we will.
Sounds like a plan.
Good team.
Yes.